You have to stand up. No, like off the...
Oh.
Yeah, perfect. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I have my entrepreneur friend and homie, Jared Chung. Want to explain a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Jared Chung, born and raised in SF Bay Area. I have my own creative production agency called Dish Crawl. I've been doing that for 4 years. Paid advertising, creative production, a bit of influencer marketing. Side hustles include food photography, art direction, creating websites for restaurants.
Dang, it's like you memorized that. It was like well rehearsed. Today I'm gonna ask him a few entrepreneurial questions just because we're both entrepreneurs, but somewhat in the same yet different fields. It's kind of interesting to take one person's viewpoint and compare it or contrast it to another person's. Without further ado, we're gonna get started. Bam, got my phone out and we're gonna ask you some questions and then I'm gonna just comment back anything that I find that I can comment on as well. So with entrepreneurship, we all know the struggle when it comes to financial stability. How do you handle the anxiety or the stress of being an entrepreneur, knowing the fact that there could be some unstable, is it unstable or unstable? Unstable months when it comes to finances?
Yeah. So I guess I had that period much earlier in my digital agency when building it from the ground up. And it was a large struggle just getting clients and sort of going through that revolving door of clients where we would bring some on only to be sort of turned down or rejected. Didn't even know what sort of vertical I was going after. Before it was just mainly just trying to find restaurants with a budget or food brands. Over time, we've built systems and processes through outbound sales and having consistent sales come in, and we would take in certain types of leads that were a good fit to work with us. After 4 years, we have our marketing in place to attract the right type of customers. Seeing that we have a pretty big portfolio of clients in SF Bay Area, I came out here to Orange County to sort of try to find some clients as well. Managing that in the early phase was very difficult because basically I had to make money to survive.
California is very, kind of what it's like in the beginning.
Very difficult, and I was paying rent living at home, and here I am paying rent, but I didn't move out at a time where I was unstable. I moved out when I was more confident in my financial situation. My best advice is to keep sort of going through that struggle and try to make things work. Find mentors that really know what they're doing. Surround yourself with people who are successful in your field.
Yes, I agree. And I feel like the number one thing that people do when they try to chase like building their own business, their own dreams, or being an entrepreneur is they give up too easily. So like when we hit that struggle, I feel like a majority of people just quit. When they reach the struggle, they're like, okay, I can't handle this anymore, I'm done. But as entrepreneurs like me and you, we've been through the struggles, we know what it's like, but you just have to keep going. And he has really great advice when it comes to that. Like, how do you deal with the stress or the anxiety? Like for me, like it actually weighs me down, and I feel like if I have too much financial stress, I actually become less productive because it just distracts me. What was the advice you had for me when I was like, how do you just get over it? You know, you have to keep working, you have to keep grinding. How do you just convince yourself to do that instead of let the stress take over you?
The best advice is at the end of the day, you have to focus on your self-care and make sure that you get at least 8 to 9 hours of sleep a night.
Agreed.
Make sure that you exercise frequently. I exercise 6 times a week. Make these things a priority. Make sure you're eating, somewhat healthy so that you can have a high-functioning lifestyle, that you're able to do a lot of things and you're able to close deals and be very active. First year, second year, I was making basically nothing. You really just have to see it through. You had the motivation initially to become an entrepreneur, and building an agency, I guess Michelle's building her agency, Infinite Potential Agency, basically leverage whatever resources you have to make things work.
I pretty much like the point that you brought up, like literally you started for a reason. Why quit now? Why stop now? If you stop now, all of what you did was in a way a waste, because if you're quitting too early on, it's like, what was the point of you working so hard up until that point? You have to keep going. Anytime I'm stressed or I have high anxiety when it comes to entrepreneurial business or anything that relates to just the field that we're doing, I always count on him to cheer me up, and he just says things like, you have to keep going. If anything, take a break, but keep going, because you have to remember the reason that you started and the things you want to fulfill moving forward. Okay, next question. Okay, this is an interesting one. As entrepreneurs, a lot of us start in one route and then we end up somewhere else that we didn't imagine being before. So as an example, I started off Instagram 5 years ago. I took pictures on my iPad in front of the garage door. That is literally how I started my Instagram page. 5 years later, I am literally the founder of an agency that handles influencer marketing, professional photography, videography, and event planning. I also work at an office full-time in addition to doing professional photography for beauty brands. I do a lot of these miscellaneous hustles that all relate to each other. How did you start off when I first met you as opposed to now?
I started my journey as a food photographer in 2007 when I took a trip to Hong Kong with my family. Bought me a small digital camera. I was taking pictures of food basically through the span of from 2007 onwards. From there, I approached random restaurants and food brands in San Francisco, namely Santana Row. And I reached out to them to do it for free and sort of build up my portfolio. Okay. I believe I was
2007.
Around 15 years old.
Wow.
And eventually I was doing deals where it's like $50 or $100.
That's still not bad.
You know, just some lunch money for the client. Repeating that over the years, slowly ramp up the deal sizes and the clients and amass like tons and tons of clients in San Francisco Bay Area. My journey as an entrepreneur is also one that sort of pivoted. I started my first creative production agency, Dish Crawl, in 2016 in January while I was doing my MBA at Santa Clara. I was motivated by my passion for food photography and to contribute to these brands. During my time doing this, I guess I explored other avenues of sort of revenue, and I was interested in like public relations, advertising, paid acquisition. I started some e-commerce shops selling some different things. I made a wallet, handmade design, got someone to manufacture it here in California, and I sold one of them for $100.
Nice.
And then I closed that Shopify store down, so it was really cool sort of experiencing that.
Yeah.
And I guess I do want to go back into e-commerce. I still held on to Dish Crawl the entire time as my main source of income. Now food photography has become more of a side hustle and something I do for fun because I don't want to do it in my main. My main is my agency and just doing that from day to day.
Just over the years, I think we grew from like I was influencer to photographer, and now I'm founder of agency, and he went from photographer to founder of agency. You grow along the way and you learn different things and you realize what really fits in your niche. I personally thought years ago photography was my way. Over the years I realized I'd rather help other people get collaborations or deals because I just feel like I'm helping someone else's life further if I can connect brands and influencers together. A point I want to backtrack on that you mentioned was I think it is very important to have a portfolio, and I cannot just stress how important it is to have a really solid one. In the past, trying to get any client when you first start a business, it is extremely hard to get anyone to notice you if you do not have any type of prestige or credibility. Like, I think it's really important because what I noticed is as soon as you nail that first really good or reputable client, or you keep adding to your list of clients, somehow word spreads. Brands, companies, owners start reaching out to you. They say, hey, I found you from this article, I found you from this person's feed, and the connections and your network just grows exponentially. If you're just starting out, my advice to you is to actually what he did, build a portfolio and do it for free in the beginning. You want to develop a really strong portfolio with really good brands, and that is a smart move for you to work with restaurants in Santana Row because those are very prestigious and bougie and very good and high-end restaurants.
Going back to that, I started with those brands, some of those brands in Santana Row, doing that for free, and that gave me credibility that I worked with already the top brands already at the age of 15, and now I'm 28. Last year we worked with more brands in Santana Row that own sort of that whole entire restaurant sort of space. You need to just sort of leverage whatever you have, whatever your portfolio is about. Make sure that those clients are very focused and high quality.
No matter what, don't ever be ashamed to reach out to brands, clients, people about your work. Like, don't ever shy away from promoting your own work. I know plenty of people who get kind of scared or they feel very fearful about like, oh, should I really be pushing my YouTube video on my Facebook page? Should I really be promoting this? Like, I'm a little scared. Don't be scared because you're just losing opportunities that way. What I can tell you guys recently is I was able to land a very big deal that I'm very happy about because I reached out to a certain brand and they declined me at first, but months later they came back at me with a really good opportunity and I took it. It's going to take place this January and I'm just really excited because it just started off with being proactive, reaching out, telling the brands or owners what you're about, what you offer, what you do, and hoping that resonates with them in the long run. Just because someone doesn't want to work with you today does not mean it means forever. Definitely have a strong portfolio, build that network, and don't ever give up because your network is bigger than you think. Even saying hi to someone or putting your work out there, you don't know who's gonna see it. That's probably one of the most funnest and interesting parts about social media or this field in general. Your work spreads from word of mouth and just online. So I just think that's pretty interesting. How do you deal with or tolerate people who are close to you? So say it's a friend who's very competitive or jealous of you.
Discouraging.
Yes, or a family member who is discouraging, doesn't understand what you do, bashes on your work. I think that's an interesting question because we've both been through it, I feel like.
Yeah, I think this is something that we've discussed over the years, and namely I remember we had a conversation at Tom and Tom's Coffee.
Wow.
And back in the Bay Area in Santa Clara, and we talked about this for like hours, and yeah, no, it's one of my favorite places.
Yo, I want to go back right now. I wish we had a Tom and Tom's right now.
Yeah.
Dude, it's in LA.
It's in Koreatown.
It's 2 hours away?
Yeah, it's 2 hours away.
I love Tom and Tom. problems.
In regards to just how do you deal with discouraging people, how do you deal with difficult close friends?
Yes.
There are conflicting sort of values that people have, and that's okay. The reality is that you are the sum of the people you surround yourself with, and people around you influence your thoughts and your behaviors and actions.
Yeah, I agree.
And so if there's any sort of dissonant values, unfortunately, it's not conducive to being successful. What you need to do there is pretty much you need to distance yourself a bit from that to make sure that it doesn't affect you. If you're able to still be close to them and not have it affect you, kudos to you. You can definitely maintain that relationship. It's never black and white. People are very complex. You know, your close friends, you're close friends for a reason, I think.
Yeah.
That maybe you enjoy their company, or maybe they're actually a really, really good person. They have good values. Different people that sort of didn't agree with what I do, told me to get a real job.
Oof.
You just have to distance yourself a bit and put a bit of sort of boundaries. Communicate with the other person to let them know what your thoughts are on that. You know, don't be silent, don't be passive aggressive. If that still doesn't work, then yeah, you need to distance yourself a bit to make sure that you protect yourself. And
the number one thing is distance yourself. Hopefully you don't have to cut off the friendship, because that would just be sad if you have to cut off a friendship off of your actual job or career that you're trying to chase, or your dreams. For my case in specific, I was surrounded by certain people who kind of discouraged me from my work. They would actually make fun of me at the events that I hosted, and they would try to ridicule me in front of my guests. They would be like, oh, you take shitty photos. They would say pretty mean things that I never heard when we were alone. So I'm just like, where's this coming from? I'm being nice to you and I'm trying to show you my passion. The payback I get is you take shitty photos. How is someone a good friend by saying that? Especially at a public especially at a public event. So I'm just like, I actually had to confront this person. I was like, look, why did you say these things? It hurt my feelings. So I was actually very honest with this person and direct, and I was actually crying that day because it hurt me that much to hear such harsh words from someone that I didn't expect it from. I just really got an answer that was very simple and no explanation. It was like, oh, sorry, I didn't know it was hurtful, or I didn't mean to. The weird part is it happened again. It was repetitive. It wasn't a one-time thing. You have to distance yourself if you try to make amends or you try to approach the problem and the problem persists. You're doing your best to be open and honest with this person and they're giving you problems about your career. Then that's the point where you have to distance yourself.
you just need to protect yourself at the end of the day.
You do, especially if it's something that you truly believe in, like your actual hustle and passion. You want this to take off. You cannot have someone on the sidelines who's like booing you down. That's not gonna help you grow. It's not gonna help you be successful. It just takes you down. That quote was really good that you used. Surround yourself by people that help you grow, help you learn more about yourself, help you improve, and they're honest with you. That's what you want at the end of the day. You want a very close group of friends or circle you can rely on to bring out the best version of yourself. What do you feel about having an actual business partner, like being partners, not co-workers, actual co-founders? And what are your thoughts about hiring out freelancers or contractors or people under you?
It's a very loaded one because it goes both ways, and I'm actually someone who's a solopreneur but has 9 people on my team, sort of contractor, freelancers, doing various roles like account management, design, photography. If you have co-founders, it's great. You're able to leverage your specific specialty to create wins and leverage those synergies to work as a team. If you're just a solopreneur, then you can just maintain the full equity and ownership of your company. That means that you have full ownership of the vision and the overall strategy. No one has to tell you what to do ever, which is great in a way.
Creative freedom and the ability to try new things that maybe a different co-founder wouldn't let you try.
That gives you the freedom to do whatever you want and see things through the way you want it. So it goes both ways. If you have a co-founder, then it helps you have accountability to accomplish what you need to do. I think there's a lot of challenges in having co-founders that mismatch of vision and being maybe just not fit personality-wise. Most of the time, especially in Silicon Valley, you spend like 12 to 14 hours a day in a room together. Or if you work remotely, still you're spending a significant amount of time together, and you really have to like the other person just on a personal level. You'll be eating lunch and dinner with this person.
Kind of, yeah.
And you want to be able to just not only tolerate, but actually really enjoy that other person's presence. And just making close friends is sometimes difficult. Finding other people that you really enjoy, that you can spend 12 to 14 hour days on end. There's a lot of the time a mismatch about vision, about what your company is about. Some people might chase after money and revenue, and some people chase after impact. You want to be able to really understand what your motivation is to, behind doing a startup. Make sure that your values aligned. Lastly, I would say in tandem with vision is values, making sure that your values match. Not only professional, but personal values. So making sure that you're an honest person, that you have compassion, you have some conscience to what you do, and that's all aligned with the other person and your co-founders as well as your business?
For me personally, now that I've been through a lot of negative experiences when it comes to co-founders, like I've actually created 2 businesses in the past before this current agency. I've worked with both females and males before, and it didn't work out. So it has nothing to do with gender. I'd rather be a solopreneur, not only for the fact that I love being able to be in control 100% of the creative vision of my company, seeing where it goes from 0 to 100, but it's also the fact that when you have a co-founder, it's almost like dating or a relationship type of thing. Like you said, I never thought about it that way, but you really have to get along with the person so well. The vision has to be similar or the same. The morals of both people have to be similar. Integrity, honesty, loyalty to the company. People that I've bumped into in the past were missing a few aspects that we didn't align on. Like we didn't see eye to eye. Like, there was a lot of unfairness when I worked with people in the past. That played a role in making our company just go down south, because if you and this person as co-founders, you guys don't get along, or you have clashing ideas or clashing morals, then it just doesn't work out well, because it's just a imbalanced equation in a way. After learning from negative experiences, I personally believe I have the ability of what it takes to be a solopreneur and run an agency on my own. In terms of hiring people out, this is something I love to do. I'm able to hire out a photographer, a videographer, an event planner. When you hire out a contractor or a freelancer, they're more likely to respect your vision and your goals, and you can see if you're a good match before you sign the contract. Whereas if you're a co-founder, it's harder to get along if you guys have mismatched views, because you're kind of stuck with them. As soon as you guys establish a company together, you kind of have to work your asses to make sure you guys get along. I think the difference is with freelancers and contractors, you can just hire them, and you can hire them seasonally or full-time or part-time or whatever. You can let them go whenever you want, or you can stop working with them, but you have the flexibility to choose. Whereas as a co-founder, you're kind of stuck with that person for life, or however long your company is running.
What types of values would you look in a co-founder?
The values I would look for is definitely honesty and integrity, because honestly I've been lied to, and I can catch it pretty easily because the person doesn't have a good argument if you call them out on something. If you sense lack of trust in the business, usually there's some kind of shady vibe that tells you if something isn't right. Like your gut feeling or something deep in your heart will tell you something doesn't feel right. Why don't you approach them on this? I'm a very open and communicative person, so if I ever asked a question to someone, it would be very calmly. The answer I get was usually more kind of like an angry retort or something that was very sassy, and to me that's not a healthy dynamic in any type of business relationship. Anyone who talks to you like that, it doesn't work for me. I'd rather work alone, respect myself, than be disrespected by someone else. Like, I feel like as a business owner, you should want to be able to change the lives of other people. You shouldn't want it to be greedy for money, to live well, to live luxuriously. I feel like if you're only thinking about yourself, it will show in the way that your business runs. If you think about other people, you're going to see it through their company mission statement, their company motto, or you can just see by the way they affect and touch other people's lives. I think one of the biggest ones is making sure what you do as a company has some purpose to fulfill other people's lives.
Always adding value to other people's
Adding
lives.
value to other people's lives. And in books I read, the number one thing is that aspect, is adding value to other people's lives is what fulfills your happiness. That's what I've read in a lot of books. I think it's very true. And it's something I never really realized until I read books. Yeah.
That's why people go into like philanthropy, helping out at animal shelters.
Helping other people just gives you this joy inside, and I agree. What is one piece of advice you give to new entrepreneurs or aspiring business owners who want to make it all the way?
I love this one because I've gotten this question many times, and I'm just going to repeat my answer that I got from another video, namely Wendy Xiao. You can see her link in the description below.
Bam!
The advice that I gave on that video was basically, if you want to go into entrepreneurship and you're not very sure, don't. And the reason being is because if you have to question it, that means that you're maybe not internally motivated enough to go into it. I don't recommend it because it's so grueling, and I think not a lot of people can withstand the amount of stress and grit required to run a company and build something from scratch. It's much easier to work in a corporate setting and be told what to do, get a salary at the end of the day. If you're still very, very much internally motivated, you have a certain impact you want to make on the world, whether you want to help certain demographics of people or help save some lives to that extent. If you're really set on that impact, then I definitely think you should do it.
The impact thing really resonates with me because it makes me reflect on my own life. The reason I started my own agency was because I dealt with a lot of public relations agencies, social media agencies as a blogger influencer. And to be honest, I'm just gonna be blunt with it. I feel like a lot of public relations agencies don't do good work. And what I mean by that is they don't answer their emails on time, they ignore you, they don't send you a contract, the contract has typos, all these OCD things. I didn't want to replicate that in my own agency. My impact moving forward with my agency is to make sure all my emails are as timely as possible, as detailed as possible, as little questions asked as possible. Anything that I can deliver in a detail-oriented, clear and concise manner, I want to be able to do that and represent that aspect as my agency. I believe impact is very important because that's what sets you apart. Usually when you create a company, there's a meaning or purpose behind it. That is all for the questions we have for today. If you guys want to see more entrepreneurial Jer on my channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like button, notification bell, and comment down below what are your questions you want us to film in another video, or if you guys want us in another video.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Please,
turn on the bell.
engagement, need engagement.
Follow her on TikTok. You need to like it right now. Turn on the bell notification. Hope to see you guys in the next one.
Hope to see you guys in the next one. If we don't get 20 likes, that means there's no next one. 20 likes is doable, so if we don't have 20 likes, that is a bad sign, Jer. That means our answer sucked. I'm kidding. I actually personally like videos like these because we're able to be open and honest. 20 likes, guys. 20 likes, or else Jer will never be seen.
You can also log out and log back in. So you can log out of your Gmail account, log back in.
Wait, that counts as an extra like?
You can no, into a different account.
Yeah.
So you can use different browsers, you know, do what it takes.
If we're being desperate here, 20 likes or Jer will not be seen again. Should you be insulted if 20 likes
No,
don't
I think
appear?
there will be 20. I'll get it done.
Is it 20 Jer email accounts? Until next time, bye.
Until next time.
Until the next 20 likes.
Until the next 20 likes.
Until the next 20 likes. Bye, guys.